SANYO TV DP52449. A customer called us to come and pick up and recycle this TV. TV has no power. It's already plugged in. There is no standby light. Pushing the power button. Nothing happened. No backlight. It's not responding to the power at all, and there is no power completely. This is over 12 years old TV, and you can see there's a lot of dust around. Let's shake this cover and see what's inside. A lot of dust. Yeah, power supply, main board. There is some bad capacitors. Could be that's it, the bad capacitors. Check the power supply. I don't see any bad capacitors in the power supply. I don't see any. So let me check the main board. I do remember this main board. It has some common issue as the EPROMs. The EPROM goes bad. The audio IC goes bad. That's the common problem for this specific model. Alright, yeah, let's change these two capacitors. This is the two bed capacitor, 2200 microfarad 6.3 volt, and this is 1000 microfarad 25 volt. For the voltage, if you go up, it's okay and it's better. The microfarad should be the same. Like this one, I use 35 volt besides 16 volt, beside 25 volt. And this one is a 16 volt beside the 6.3 volt. So here in the power board we have this pen here labeled as standby 5 volt. We should have 5 volt here, but we have 0. So 0 volt in this pen. So we have 0 volt in this in that pen. We need to check the power board. So I disconnect the main board, because sometimes if there is a short in the 5 volt line, may show it's a 0 volt here. So we disconnect the main board to be sure we have or we don't have the 5 volt. We still don't have nothing over there. So because we don't have the 5 volt, first we check the fuse, the input fuse here. Should be give like 0 ohm. This one test open, so the fuse is bad. but usually the fuse, it doesn't burn by itself. So we have two big capacitors here. That's one and that's one over there. There is a rectifier bridge here. Let's see the rectifier bridge. We have low ohm in the output of the rectifier bridge. The input of the rectifier bridge is good, but the output is bad. So we have 2 ohm over there. And we have 2 varistor here. Should be test low ohm. That's good. So from the varistor we have a wire from here to here. So let's check these MOSFETs here. We have one MOSFET here in a low ohm. Here is good. Here is good. Between here and here is a low ohm. So this is the gauge. The pin by this resistor, that's the gauge. But we have a low ohm from this pin to this pin. Maybe because there is a transformer here. These 2 transformers. Could be that's why we have a low ohm here. We have another transformer here. We have one diode here. Let's check this MOSFET. Okay, this MOSFET here, between this pin and this pin is a low ohm. Between this pin and this pin is a low ohm as well. That's not good. We have one diode here, and there is another diode here. So there is another MOSFET here. I do have one diode here. Let me check this. this is the MOSFETs that we find the short in them, plus the rectifier bridge. This diode here and here and here, no short. Yeah, this is the section for the backlight inverter. This transformer here is just for to transfer the signal from this switching IC to the inverter transformer. So this is the transformer. If we follow the traces, it's going to these two MOSFETs here. Yeah, the gauge of the MOSFETs is go to the transformer. The switching IC for these MOSFETs, it came in the cold side, not in the hot side. That's why they put this transformer. This transformer here is for the standby voltage, the 5 volt. This is the power IC for this transformer. So must be all these pins connect together, and that's the source. So let's see if there is any short here. So no short in this and the 5 volt standby, but we have a short here. So this completely short, the 3 legs short, and here 2 legs short. So what I'm worried about is this gate here, because the gate it works just with the 12-16 volt, but when it's shorted to here, if we have 160 volt or 300 volt, that 300 volt, it's gonna go to this side. We have a jumper here. Let's go follow the trace. We have a low ohm resistor here, about like this 10 ohm, so 7 ohm. This from this resistor we go to this to the IC. So if you have here, you can see there is a short, and there is a short to here. So if we give 160 volt here, because the MOSFET is shorted, that 160 volt or 300 volt is going to be here, and it's going to go to this small IC. So I'm going to take these MOSFETs first and see if there is a short, and we check the switching IC too. Let's test to see if we still have the short here. No short, no short, no short. You still have the short here? No. So let's check these diodes here. No short in this diode. Not this one. This is a 1 kilo ohm resistor or 10 kilo ohm. It's good. 10 kilo ohm here. No short. No short. So before we do anything, we're gonna replace these two MOSFETs and see if that's gonna fix the problem. So this MOSFET is a P10NK 60. That's the part number. So I got these two MOSFETs here. Check it again. Sorry, I did it. This MOSFET is an N channel 600 volt 8N. You can see it over there. This one's here. That's the bad one. Maybe just one of them is bad, but I'm gonna replace. Yeah, this one is bad. Completely short.
Releases. French get it back. Saliba. Griezmann. There's a little bit of room there.
Short.
Likes to get rid of it early.
And rectified bridge
Griezmann.
here.
Blocked. Foul. That recovery
Short.
by
And this is the shorted MOSFET.
Griezmann finding little joy, little touches in this first half, the first 30 minutes or so. Last one decides to drop a little deeper. We know he'll do that and play make from one of those deeper areas, but it's just tight centrally right now for France to try to thread it into those gaps that he likes to sit in between.
Ali, what are your thoughts on the first half hour?
Yeah, this one is completely short.
I think Austria's been bright. I mean, the press, when they've opted to utilize it, has turned over some balls in advanced areas, but for the most part, they've just kept France quiet, sitting off of them, knowing when to absorb the space behind.
And it's good to go. That's the power supply. So let me turn on the switch. No burning. Yeah, that's good. Still have no standby light. Let me push power button. Okay, we have the green light. Okay, we have the channel. So the TV turns on. So what was wrong with this board? It was two bad MOSFETs, shorted MOSFETs, and one fuse. Now the TV turns on and we have the display. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and see you again.